full day of my Germany trip, my Rhine-Ruhr expedition, and I'm currently sitting in the first class carriage of the express train thundering south towards Frankfurt and then Munich, and that's not where I'm meant to be at all. I'm not meant to be on that train, and I'm not meant to be sitting here in first class, but I will explain all in due course. So my mission today was to get to the city of Essen to meet my friend Holger. And Holger is a chap that I met years ago in 2010, I think. 2010 it was, when I did a trip across Turkey. Well, I started off in Georgia and then travelled across Turkey, and I met him in the city of Van in eastern Turkey. And Holger is German. He's married to a Turkish lady, but he is a Sufi, and we got on talking about spiritual stuff there, and we've kept in irregular contact ever since. And so I thought it would be a good opportunity to go and see him. And he lives in the city of Bochum, and nearby is Essen. So he said, why don't we meet in Essen? There is a very famous mine, and indeed my friend Alex told me about this mine. It's called, I think, Zollverein. And it doesn't work anymore, as most mines don't, but it's now like an industrial museum and other things as well. So he said that would be a good place to go, and it would be a place to see some of the history of the Rhine-Ruhr region. So that's what I did. Got up early, got down to Köln, Hauptbahnhof, plenty of good time, and got on the 9:11 train to Essen. As a nice train, an IC express train, except that when I got on it, it turned out that whilst it went to Essen, it didn't stop there. Now, that's not what it said on the sign, so I'm not quite sure what was happening, but this train took me all the way to Dortmund, which is the city beyond Essen, and so I had to go to Dortmund and then go back on myself to Essen. So I got to Essen about 11 o'clock eventually, and then took a tram from under the station in Essen, through the streets out towards this coal mine, where I met with Holger, and it was just nice. We caught up with each other. We talked a lot about spiritual matters, and what happened is this vast site has a nice walk, a promenade all the way around. So we walked around this several miles, and it was really nice, really interesting, because I come from an industrial city. He's a local lad, and so that kind of industrial heritage is important to me. And actually being able to get up close to these huge monolithic machines and buildings from Germany's post-war industrial boom was wonderful, and fantastic conversation as well, and it was wonderful. And then we went into the actual museum itself. It was a museum of the Rhine-Ruhr Region, and we walked around there, and it was a wonderful museum, some really good exhibits of the whole history of the Rhine-Ruhr Region from the earliest times, also a lot of natural stuff, but in this strange industrial setting. But it worked, it was good. And so that was it, and we just chatted and chatted and chatted, and it was basically dark by the time we came out. It is a wonderful place. Some of the stuff they've done with it. So at one point, they've got an old coking plant that is now an ice rink, which is pretty cool. We had thousands of people there, and there's some industrial machinery they turned into like a Ferris wheel. That wasn't operating, but just a really cool place. Then I took the tram back into Essen, and I decided, although I was rather footsore, to have a wander around Essen. Not the world's most exciting city. All these cities were really badly damaged during the war, so a lot of them on rebuild. But the Christmas lights were out, and I did something I never expected to do. I went into Woolworths, or at least it's Woolworth. But, like Woolworths closed in Britain years ago, it went bust. But obviously somebody bought the name, or the company in Germany was separate, and it's still going. And I bought a load of socks from Woolworths, so that's how exciting my life is. And then I got back to the Hauptbahnhof, where I had my meal at a chain called Nordsee, which specialises in fish and stuff. Very nice fish too. And then I got on the train from Essen to Köln, except I didn't pay attention, and the train went to Cologne, but it didn't go to Cologne's main station. It went to the one that's like only a few hundred metres before, and I, for whatever reason, thought it was going to the Hauptbahnhof, so I didn't get off at that. And then I looked, and the next stop was Frankfurt, which is literally like over 100 miles away. And so I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? So I went to see the I think they call them the train chief, and she was wonderful. She didn't speak very good English, but she was like, right, no problem. Here's your link back to Cologne from Frankfurt. This is the platform it's on, and here's a ticket to say you don't have to pay any extra. So I'm getting a free ride to Frankfurt and back, basically. But what's more, she says, oh, go and sit in first class. So there we are. And do you know what? It's those little acts of kindness that really make a difference. So, Deutschbahn, your staff are wonderful, and they made my day. Although two trains in one day where I've overshot my destination is not a good look at all from somebody who's meant to be an experienced traveller. I guess my excuse was I'm tired, and my head was still full of the wonderful conversation with Holger. That's me, welcome to Travelling Matt, saying keep travelling.